Hello, another little bit of action. I have the car in 4th gear and I chock the wheels. I put the front pulley on and tightened up the bolt, 120 pounds-feet with a torque wrench. I fitted the fan, I fitted the alternator, so that's on. All those bolts are tightened up, everything's tightened up there. Put a new fan belt on. I'm just looking at the intake manifold, the inlet manifold. I was just looking at this and I fitted a new thing there and got the old one out. Not sure where I've put it. There it is. There's the old one. You know, probably for what it costs, worth just changing it out. I noticed that Dean had ordered a thermostat housing gasket, so I thought, okay, while it's handy to get at it, I'll take the thermostat housing off. That bolt was very messy, and the other one had a stud, but this was stuck on the stud. These washers were seized on the stud, so I will clean that. I'll clean this, but when I took this off I thought, oh, that's interesting. I could see there was some of that red build up down there, look. But there's actually like pure sludge there. That was flat. I stuck my finger in it and put that dent in it. But that's, you know, I'm glad I took it off now, because that doesn't look good at all, does it really? Okay, so I can get all this looking shipshape anyway, get it looking a lot better before it goes back on. Okay, just thought I'd bring you up to date. A few little jobs. You know how sometimes you think, oh, I wish I'd have just left it alone. I've just cleaned everything up, put a new gasket in, cleaned the thermostat, tapped this hole, and then put it back together, put some copper slip on the nut and tightened the nut up, and it's pulled the stud out. So, what does that mean? Take it apart, Mart. Put a new bolt in there as well, look. I don't know if there's any better threads further down. Let's see if this tap will pick up a better thread further down. Yeah, it might do. I'll find a stud with a fairly long bit of UNC on it, and you know, I'll make a stud if need be. If it doesn't work, we'll have to go with a helicoil, and I haven't got any of that size. Let's see if we can get a stud that will at least bottom out. Hello. Right, not perfect, but it has made a repair. I took a stud and I used this adjustable die from that very old set that I've got, and I made sure that it was cutting it slightly oversize, and I dyed the thread down the stud a bit further and then wound it in so that the oversized bit went into the part that was compromised, and it did do up. I did it up with 2 nuts to the point where the nuts started to slip. I'll put it back together, and this, so I'm using 2 hands, but that's torqued, and this is also torqued. If you went mad it would pull out, but you know, hopefully with a little bit of Hylamar around there, and it should seal okay, and there should be no need to try and tighten it up. Some time down the line maybe it could get helicoiled, but I haven't got the stuff with me to do that, and I don't want to hold the job up. So there you go, a little repair there with a custom made stud. So anyway, so at least that's all cleaned out now, nice and clean inside. The rest of it didn't look too bad, to be honest. I've used this thing here to flatten the faces. I think there's a reasonable contact. You know, all you can do is try. If it doesn't work, we'll have to try again. But all you can do is try. So this can get bolted to the left hand head, and then when I'm ready to put the right hand head on, I can offer them all in as a sort of threesome, the 2 heads and the and the manifold. Okay, I'm leaving it at that for today. I've done okay. I've cleaned up the inlet manifold just a little bit, just where the bolts go in. I've dry fitted it with the gaskets there. When I was offering it in, it felt like it was fouling somewhere underneath, but I've gone through with like a feeler gauge, like a slip of cardboard as a feeler gauge, and I don't think it is. I think there's clearance. It's very close, but I think there is clearance. If the heads were skimmed, everything's gone lower. Righto, I will pick this up again tomorrow, I dare say. Hello, welcome to Mart's Garage. I'm picking up from where I left off yesterday, and like an idiot, I've put that on the wrong way around. Never mind. I knew one of the hoses went off that way, but it's that one that goes like that. This one comes over here. So I'm going to take that off anyway, because I'm still a little bit unsure about the clearance between this and the piece below. So I'm going to take it up, loosen it off, get some aluminium foil, crinkle it up, or make some little balls or something and put some aluminium foil on, and then clamp it down and see how much it squashes the aluminium foil by. And I can do that as well at the same time. Hello. I rolled up some foil balls and put them on here where I thought it might be a bit tight, and it appears there is plenty of clearance. That one didn't even touch, so I didn't have that one in the right place, but that one, you know, there's at least a couple of mil there. That one hardly touched. This one didn't touch at all. That one didn't touch, so there is clearance, and that was without a gasket. So yeah, I'm going to stop worrying about that. I put that on the right way around, look, and I shortened that stud a bit more, cut the UNC thread a bit further up, oversize, and put a new bolt in there. And I put a standard nut in there instead of the stainless one, because the stud was a tiny bit too short for the stainless one. It was overhanging the end, but I think that's all right now. Okay. Righto, foil balls, good test for clearances. Just smear that grease around rather than washing it off, because it'll act as a sort of protective to stop it corroding. Okay, good. Okay, right. Righto, okay, I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Hello, welcome to Mart's Garage. Yesterday I discussed the job with Dean. He came round and we were looking at the job, and while there was two of us here, we put the radiator in, and then we took the radiator out again, because what we realised was you can't put this fan belt on with the radiator in place. This radiator is thicker than standard, and it's very close to that. The bolt down there in the middle, there's not enough room to get the fan belt past, so that's not very good in, you know, for a roadside repair, but it is what it is. We did look to see what it would take to move the radiator forward a little bit, but we didn't feel like doing sort of invasive surgery to the vehicle. We looked top and bottom. Anyway, we got it bolted in, and got the air feed thing in as well. So that's all looking okay. I started shimming this head. I haven't got the shims for all of them. We're waiting for some shims to arrive. Hopefully they'll be here tomorrow. But some of these are now measuring okay. When I was test fitting that manifold over there, as I put that gasket in place, it kind of got caught there, look, and creased. So I said to Dean, I ain't being funny, but these gaskets feel absolutely rubbish. We found some that look better and described as being better, and he's ordered some of those, so that's going to be another little delay while we wait for the other gaskets. So I can't fit this head, and I can't fit the intake manifold. Okay, anyway, that's the current situation. Waiting for shims. We've ordered a head bolt because one of these head bolts is damaged. That one, can you see? The thread looks a bit compromised. There, around that area there. I don't know if it's stretched or what, but it just doesn't look very kosher, so we said we'd buy another one. And a couple of washers. Because I've lost one, and one of them doesn't match, so we've ordered a couple of them as well. So we're waiting for a head bolt, some washers, some shims, and some intake manifold gaskets. Once those things come in, we, you know, ought to be able to get it all buttoned back up. There's a lot of sludge in there, isn't there? Yeah, don't know how to deal with that, to be honest, with the engine in the car. Okay, leave it with me and I'll have a think about what to do. Well, that looks better, doesn't it? Blimey. You know, for a quick go. You see the tops look okay because they, you know, this build up would never build up at the top. Okay. Anyway, that's looking better, definitely better. So that was worth a little couple of minutes it took to make that thing. I've cleaned up the two plugs. That one's still got a fibre washer on it. This one hasn't, so I found a copper washer. I'll put a copper washer on it. Okay, I'll put the block plug in on that side, and I've just gone underneath with this long socket and put the block plug in on this side as well. It's not too bad when you know where they are. They're 3/4 AF for anybody that's putting them in and out. Hello, right, I've done a little bit more. A little bit limited to what I can do, but I painted that tubular pipe and I've fitted it with new hoses. Dean had got these new hoses. Just used the same clamps that were already on there. They're a little bit big, but they're okay. We're not looking for a, you know, Pebble Beach job here. To get this to lie a little bit better, I took a 1/2 inch off that hose there to bring this end in and push that end out. But I think that's okay. Hello, carbs. One of the things that Dean told me was that this spring is broken. So I thought I would try and see what needs to happen. It appears to go probably up hooked on there and then hooked on there. He's ordered a new one. I'll go and see what it looks like. Hang on. So there's the spring. So that will have to come round. Yeah, okay. I've got the idea. I'll just put you in the thing because you're giving me extra light, so that's good, isn't it? I wanted to get it on film in case I struggle to get it back together. I've took off a little E-clip there. I've took that off from there. So this would come off, except this is in the way. But if you open it a bit, that comes off. I don't know if I need to undo the linkages or leave them in place at the moment. that's got it. Yeah. And you can see where that one broke there, look. Okay, let's just get this little clip back on then. Appears to go that way. There we are. Okay. I imagine that's for use on a automatic, isn't it, that bit there? Imagine that's for use on an automatic, that bit there. There we are. That's where the throttle cable attaches there, that little screw. That's all there is to it. That comes undone and you don't go anywhere. That tiny screw. Wop, 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 wop. Wop. Okay. The carbs are held on by a central bolt there. Trouble is the vacuum connection is there, and you have to take the vacuum connection off before you can undo the bolt. You know, why didn't they offset something? The carb looks like it's been apart a few times, doesn't it? Okay. Don't know what that means. Okay, righto. Anyway, that's another little job. I'm just doing little tinkery little jobs. I'm looking to see what we've got that hasn't been fitted. And that spring was one of them. I've cleaned this exhaust face, put some copper slip on it, and I've fitted these 3 exhaust studs brand new. Tightened, double nutted them and tightened them up. So they're all ready to go. Other than that, I'm contemplating taking this head off again, because it isn't torqued, it's only just nipped. I've got this nicely aligned now with that, so if I take it off it should go on again. And the studs haven't been in more than a couple of days, so they should come out. Alright, okay, just a little bit of tinkering. Back in a bit. Hello. Right, it's only about 15 minutes later. I've got the head off. The reason I took the head off, one of the things is I want to clean this surface here. I'd kind of fitted it as a test. Well, I would have left it on, but I kind of fitted it as a test. And there's a couple of things I want to do. I want to reconnect the starter, which is easy to do from here. And I wanted to look down. I'll take these out, hang on. And I wanted to look down here. It doesn't look too bad actually, it doesn't look as bad as the other side. And I want to get that vacuum thing down there and just make sure there's no sediment and stuff. Because I cleaned that side and I did feel like I'd got some stuff out of it. So I thought, well, I never even looked at this side, so I might as well have a look at this as well. Okay, right, good progress made. A little bit of a backward step, but sometimes you have to go a little bit backwards to be happy to move forwards. Okay, back in a bit. Yeah, that looks alright actually, doesn't it? It looks alright. You know, it doesn't look like it's been bathed in evapor rust, but it's got, you can see right down to the bottom of the water jacket. There's not tons of sludge down there. Okay, right, that's good then. So I'm happy that I've done that. I don't know how much different it is to how it was before, but I'm happy that I've done it. Okay, just a little bit of tinkering. I'll when the new shims come in, I'll go through the heads and just go through and make sure I'm happy with both sides. Then I'll put this head back on, and then I'm gonna have to wait for the blooming intake manifold gaskets. But I'll probably put the other head on. That means I can put the power steering pump on, just get things in place, put the intake manifold in place, then when the new gaskets come in I'll just slip those in. I don't know, this is what I'm guessing I'm going to do. I always make a plan and then never stick to it. Okay, right, anyway, that's how it's looking. Okay, thanks for joining me on this little evening session. I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Hello, welcome to Mart's Garage. I'm going to wait till I do any more on the engine. There's the one head, there's the other head. So I decided to have a look at the fuel tank. I've emptied the boot. I've emptied this area here. There was a lot of stuff in here. And I've unboxed the petrol tank. For those that like unboxings, well, tough. Look, box stuff. Here's the old tank, which looks a bit the worse for wear. We looked down inside and we saw a lot of mess, so it was a case of just bite the bullet and order a new one. So I've got this as a pattern, so I can see there's a little connector there, there's a pipe there and a blanking plug there. So pipe in that one, blanking plug in that one, and yeah, little hose connector on there. Looks, you know, like a decent quality job. It sits on 4 pads. It sits on there, and there, so it doesn't sit on the bottom of the boot floor basically. So yeah, let's I've vacuumed it out, and I thought what I would do is just put a bit of wax oil around the bottom there just to give it some protection. Most of it is covered and is okay, but there's just a little bit of bare metal just in a couple of little areas, so I thought I'd just put something there to protect it. There's no major worries, you know. Let's I'll just put something in to protect it, then I'll drop the tank in, then start working out where all the different connections go. Hopefully it should be relatively simple. You can see, you can hear all the hammering there. That's because they're replacing the roof on the house, so it's all kind of ongoing. Big job, you know, big job. Righto. So here we go. Next thing you'll see, it'll be in place. Okay, it's not in yet, but I've covered everything in wax oil in there, and I've covered the under the side of the tank in wax oil as well, just to give it some protection. There was some foam under there, but I'm thinking that it's probably best just to leave it as it is, so that there's air can circulate in the gap underneath. Okay, I'll drop that in then. Well, it goes in, fits in the hole, so I don't know whether all 4 will line up at once, but we'll start putting the bolts in. Look like there's fluid in then from my point of view. It's just a shadow from the thing. Nice and clean inside, isn't it? Okay. Righto, you don't need to see me put 4 bolts in, so I'll start working on that. I'll bring you back in a little bit. Hello, here's the old fuel tank. There was a filler plug, not a filler plug, a blanking plug and this pipe, and this was like this, and I undid the nut, undid that piece, and then started to try and take this out, and I realised I couldn't take it out. So, not wanting to damage it too much, I thought I'll just cut this piece out of the tank because the tank is scrap. Anyway, this is the pipe, just for reference, that it has a hole in the side like that. Yeah. So I'm thinking that probably the best thing to do is to buy a new one. But they only seem to show one that, and they describe it as a fuel return pipe rather than a fuel feed pipe. And they show it where that hole isn't on the side and it's just got a hole on the end. But that is basically just a bit of 5/16 tubing, and that is a nut that can be retrieved, and there's an olive in there, so it might be best to try and make one. I might as well just scrap this and use it as a, not even try and remove it. That was just completely clogged up. Yeah, I think I might just make a new one using this as a pattern, dead straight, however long that is. Okay, righto, I'll bring it back when there's more to show. Hello, right, it's a couple of hours later. There's the pipe, and I've just made this one. It's got a hole in it, similar. That's set to what I would guess to be the right length. I've got this bit of 5/16 conifer. I've got a fitting. It's a little bit tight on the pipe, which doesn't make it easy, and I got an olive, a 5/16 olive, so that's good. That was very, very difficult. I soldered a brass screw in the end. It was really, really difficult to get the solder to take. You wouldn't believe it, it's always one step forward and two steps back. So there's the new piece, there's the tank in place. Guess what? It won't go in. So I've just undone the bolts to get the tank back out again, and I'll fit this and then put the tank back in. Now, according to some diagrams, it shows this heading downhill. The one in the car was heading uphill. I imagine it's probably best to go downhill so it can go around that corner underneath the boot floor rather than uphill. Yeah, I think it'd be better like that. So I'll get the tank out and drop this in place and then get it fitted. Anyway, that's the way it is. Okay, back in a bit. It's a bit of a long story, but basically the hole in this thing isn't big enough for the pipe to go through. So I started drilling it out. I thought, oh, blimey, this is going a long way. And I suddenly thought, oh, blimey, I wonder if they've kind of changed the design and got some sort of a pipe already as part of this. But they haven't, because I've just put a mirror in there and looked across here and poked this down, and you can see it wobbling about. So it isn't there. So I'll finish drilling it, and what I did, I put a piece of rag over there and blew down it with the air hose so there's air coming out. Plug that so there's air coming out, and I put grease on the drill as well, so hopefully there shouldn't be any bits that have gone in. You know, I wouldn't rule it out, but I can at least try and mitigate for that. So I'll finish drilling it now. Hello, right, the tank's back in. I've got to tidy up all the pipe work, yes, and work out where everything goes. But the pipe work is in, and the plug is in with a copper washer. I pointed it down there. It might want swinging around, but it can easily be just undone. That fitting is a bit longer than the original fitting, but the original fitting was quite, it was sort of squashed. But that, I think, is not too bad. Bolted it in with the washers, and I put a bit of rubber under that one and a bit of rubber under that one because it didn't quite sit flat. So it kind of sits okay now. So I've got to work out where the filler hoses and things are. So that appears to go up there, and then that piece will go onto that pipe there. Yeah, that'll be okay, I think. Right. Okay, righto. Thanks very much for joining me in the garage. That was quite a grueler, that was, with having to make that pipe, but it's in now, so that's good. Thanks very much for joining me in the garage then. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers then. Bye. Hello, I've took the tank back out again. There was something that was troubling me. Even though I made this, my new filler, to the same length as that, I was aware that it was quite a long way from the bottom of the tank. Somebody had put a comment on one of the forums and mentioned that the pickup doesn't go anywhere near the bottom of the tank and he always has to have lots of fuel in it. So I put that in there and put a mark on it. And the thing is, I've bent this since because that's my fix. So that's about like that. Well, this was shorter, but it's also, that is quite a bit shorter as well. But I think this ridge is closer towards the bottom of the tank than the other one. So what I've done, just to kind of mitigate it a bit, I didn't really want to make another one because it was quite difficult, but I've bent it so as it goes in, it comes down more vertical, like that. So it's going to be closer to the tank. Because I thought if it dog ends on the bottom of the tank, the olive will just move down a bit. But it doesn't. It's still clear, but it's closer. So that's what I've done. I've done it so it goes down rather than straight. So that will at least allow the tank to run a little bit lower before it runs out. The reason I took the tank out was partially because of that. I wanted to take this out because I couldn't get this hose from the tank onto there, and I just touched this and the piece fell off and it disappeared, so I needed to take the tank out to get it out. Anyway, what it was one of the mounting studs for that casting. So I've retrieved that. I've done my secondary job, which was to rework that. You know, I like to have things just right. I'm an engineer. So that, oh, jaunty angle, Mart. So that's okay. I've retrieved my part so I can put that on and I'll get it back in now. Okay, right, back to the previous schedule. That's the little piece that fell out. It fell out because it wasn't really in the filler cap casting properly. So I've ran a die down both ends. I've locked two nuts onto it so I can wind it into the casting. I just tried to do it, but it wouldn't go in. There's the filler cap casting. So I've just ran a tap up through the thing there. So now that'll screw in nicely now. So I can put the pipe on. I covered this up to make sure no little bits fell in. So I can put the filler tube on now. Lots of little bits of attention to detail that you have to take care of. Okay, back in a bit. Hello. Right, as far as I can tell, the fuel tank is in. It's got wax oil on the floor, wax oil under the tank. Got a new pickup pipe. some new hose clips. I put a fuel filter there purely because that's 5/16 and that's 1/4. So it was a good way of getting from 5/16 to 1/4, because these fuel filters have a 1/4 and a 5/16 at both ends, so you can go from 5/16 to 1/4 in the fuel filter there. So I just tuck that down there. The plug is in with a new washer. I've used the existing pipes here that were already in the car, and I've used that existing pipe there. I bought some new clips and put those on. The sender is in. I haven't gone mad trying to turn this, but I can give it another tappity tap tap. They're in, that's on, and it's all, you know, I think it's looking okay. I've got this piece in, use the original clip there, put another clip up here. I think I need to try and move it upwards a bit, but that's about the best I can do for now. I'm talking about this one up here. Put a clip on there, that hose on, that pipe on, this connector hose, the original clips on there. So yeah, quite a lot of work there, to be honest. Wasn't easy. Oh yeah, and I reworked all this here with the rethreading and cleaning the threads and getting that working again. So that's pretty good, to be honest. I think that's okay. Another little session in the garage. Okay, thanks very much for joining me in the garage then. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers then, bye. Cheers then, bye. Okay, thanks for joining me in the garage. That'll do for now. I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Cheers then, bye. Hello, welcome back to the garage. I'm still waiting on shims for that head, but I've had word that the shimming that I did on that head is okay. I've just got my Hylamar blue and a paintbrush and just put a very thin smear around all the water inlets here, the water ports on the head. I've left everything else clean. I've cleaned the cylinders, wiped them out, and I'm ready to put the head back on. I've put 2 dummy studs there, Ford flathead ones, and I've cleaned the surface of the exhaust pipe and put the gasket there because it'll sit on that little spigot there. So I'll drop the head on now and then start buttoning that back up. Okay. I'll leave it at that for filming, and I'll carry on just doing a little bit. So I'll connect the exhaust and put the cam wheel on. Okay, back in a bit. Hello, I'm just about to reattach the cam on this side. I used this punch to line it up, and I used the spanner to turn the cam a little bit to get it in line. In fact, I think it's a little bit out again. I've pulled it in, it is engaged. Probably wants to go in a bit further, or again, yeah, it wants to go in. I need to wedge it a bit, but I thought I'd just show what I've just done here. This is the washer, and it's got very square cut end. It's like it's laser cut. So I thought what I'd do, I'd put like a chamfer there around those tabs, so that when it's on and I want to bend a tab up, I can slip a little blade behind to start it up. I was thinking I might have a job bending it up if I can't get under the edge of it, so I've preempted that by putting a little chamfer on there. Look, I'll put that in as a top tip if it works. Okay, yet to see. So I just need to wedge that on a bit and get the bolt started. Especially when the thing's got a bit of spring behind it. Is this going to be famous last words? Okay, it's off. Okay. Haven't lost it, so that's good. And that needs to be so it's clear of that when it's running. That's not touching now. Okay, good. So that's back on. This can come out. There's the bolt in with the washer behind. Haven't got the light on the camera. And you can see with that chamfer I can get a thin bladed screwdriver behind there to lift it up. I'll show you what's going on outside. They're doing the roof. You know they're doing the roof. He's having a phone call. But because he's doing the corners, there's a lot of cutting. So you can see they put the tiles on, look. And they're going to redo all the mortar around the chimney. So there's going to be quite a lot of noise because that's quite a noisy operation. Just laying the tiles in, there was no noise at all. Okay. Hello, I've been through a couple of iterations of shimming. I'm using my feeler gauges to measure the gaps. I've shimmed everything here and 3 of them need to be adjusted. Okay, number 4 needs opening up by 1 thou. Okay, I found a good way to get these out is just use a valve grinding thing. Just sucker that on there, lift it up. There's the shim. That looks like a new shim actually. So let's measure this and then see if we've got one that's a tiny bit thinner. Can you see this gauge here, look? Right, that measures 94 because the 0 is 100. Okay, so there's my shim. So let's try these others. Oh, okay. That one is closer to 93, so that's a good candidate. So that one's a good candidate there. I'll tell you what, let's put it on number 4 like that. Let's try this. Well, that's a good candidate as well. That's more. So that's an even better candidate. So we'll get rid of that one and put that one there. So what I think I'll do, I'll take this one, which is a new one, and I'll go and rub it on the emery for a bit. I'll give it a bit of a rub on the emery. I'll show that if you like. I put that around it because it stops my glove from getting caught underneath. But I'm pushing on that finger and then pushing down on that finger. Let's go and see if that's made a difference. That's more like 91.5 now. So ought to get us in the ballpark. So let's put that in. That's one that needed attention, so we've done that one. That was number 4. So that one's okay. So number 6, that's at 0.005. So let's get that one out and see what that one says. Yeah, that does measure 92. So I know I haven't got a 91 because I've just measured all these. So I'm going to have to rub this one down. Okay, I'm going to go and do what I did on the other one, and then I'll put it back in, and then I'll address the next one. But as for you've seen what I've done on the first one, so I'm just going to repeat that for the number 6 and number 8, and I'll bring you back when there's more to show. I've just measured this one, number 6, and 6 thou goes easily. 6 thou goes, so I'm calling that one good. There it goes, that goes, that one's alright, that one's good. That's snug but not too tight. I'd say that one is too tight. That needs just a tiny bit more. So number 4 needs a little tiny rub. Number 8's okay. Which was the other one I did? No, number 6 is okay. That goes at 6 thou. That goes. So number 6 is okay. Number 8's okay. And number 4 just needs a tiny little bit more. I'll go and do that and then I'll bring you back. Okay, number 4 is done. That's the last one. After 2 or 3 rounds of rubbing down the shim, you get like a thou every time. It's now got 16 thou. Comfortable. That's 17 thou, and it just about goes. It's tight. So it's a tight 17 and a okay 16. The nuts are tight but not torqued. I will torque them. I'm not going to measure them again because to be honest, I've had enough shimming now. I've been doing it for at least a week, you know, with the delays for receiving the shims. So I'll torque there. 15 foot-pounds they are, not too tight. Okay, back in a bit. Got my old beam torque wrench out. It's the only one that will read down to 15. Got 15 there, look. $15. Okay, good. Nice, there you go. I think I bought that when I was 16, so 50 years ago. Well, it was in calibration when I bought it. Close enough for government work. Righto. Okay, this head, I'm going to clean it a little bit and then start putting some high lamar around the water jacket windows, and do the same with the block and get ready to put that on. But that was the shimming procedure that I've been following. This worked really well, much easier than measuring them with a micrometer every time. I've got the micrometer there. I correlated that to this and then had all these records here. Oops. You know, you can tell I've been doing a lot of it. The first one's easy because you can use all the shims out the other head. The second one's the one that's the pain. Okay, that head is done at long last. Righto, I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Cheers then, bye. I just went around with the Hylamar and the paintbrush and just put a little bit of Hylamar around all the water jacket holes and around that area there. But I've just put the head gasket on and pushed it onto the Hylamar just to kind of hold it in place. I've also got these flathead head studs in place as well there. Be good to get that on and then start being able to reassemble some of the other things. I'm only going to put it on just a little bit tighter than finger tight. I was struggling with the exhaust manifold hitting the chassis. I think you've virtually got to drop the exhaust manifold down into the exhaust there, because the exhaust is just there. It's got to go down because this doesn't hardly move. And then you can see there where the exhaust manifold sat on the chassis there. Obviously it'd be better to put the exhaust manifold on after, but it'd be really awkward to put the exhaust manifold on after. You can see where that's been on the chassis, look. I think I'll just take this one out. I've took the one stud out that's closest to here. So I'm hoping that'll help me get that in. Give it another try. You haven't got the best angle from there, but I can't really put you over anymore. Let's try and get a bolt in. Okay, I can't find my torch. I've been at it quite a while, so I think I might have a little break at that and come back refreshed. But that's a significant step, getting the second head back on. Both heads are on now. So yeah, so I'm going to call it good at that for now. I'm going to have a little break and regroup, tidy up some tools, and come back and continue to assemble things up. We've got the new gaskets there, so you know we can make some progress. Yeah, the exhaust is on. I've took the stud out of this one. I put a cable tie through the thing just to hold the gasket in place. and you can see there that the exhaust is so tightly constrained that I could only get the head on by putting the studs into the exhaust. The head didn't want to go on with all the manifold studs in place. I might have been able to do it, but I just don't know. But it did go on, so that's okay. Okay, right. Yeah. I'll bring it back, as always, when there's more to show. Cheers then. Hello. I've offered the manifold on and the gaskets. I've just put the 4 bolts in because I'm not going to be bolting it up at this point. This is just a sort of fit and clearance check. I've had everything tightened up, and I've nipped the studs and bolts both sides, and I'm slowly going up to a tighter and tighter torque, just going from this ratchet, for instance, to this ratchet. And I had these bolts slackened, and I've just retightened them, and everything seems to be fitting okay. So I'm going to slacken these again so things aren't fighting, and then I'll go further towards the full torque on the heads, and at each point I'll just retighten these and make sure that this is fitting okay, because these heads in theory will be going downwards, won't they? There was quite a big gap when the heads were just placed on, but I think as they go down, the gap will close up. Okay. Righto. I'll check what the torque figure is and start working my way up to there. You don't need to see me do that. It's pretty standard fodder, you know. Go around the sequence, go around the sequence. Slacken, loosen, slacken, loosen, slacken, you know, just keep going around everything. I've never had an engine where you've had to kind of do everything at the same time, you know. Normally you can put a head on and put the other head on whenever you like, but I believe this is a little bit different. Could be completely wrong, who knows. Probably am. Righto. Yeah, okay, anyway, good progress today. Shimmed this head and fitted it, got the manifold test fitted, and it's coming together. This cam gear is on. That needs to be bent out the way, because you don't want to run it like that because it'll damage the threads. Okay, righto. I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Okay, good. Right. I don't like doing it like down here, because it's not very easy to put the load on, but here like this it's okay. Get all my old sockets out. I don't very often use 1/2 inch. Anyway, that's worked okay. I'll let it sit for a while, and then I'll give them a double check. So I'm just going to slacken and loosen the bolts on the intake manifold just to check that it's settled in okay. I haven't put any sealant on the gaskets, so I'm not going to tighten them down. That one feels a bit tight. That feels alright. That feels okay. That feels okay. And while I'm at it, I'll put something down the inlet tract. Hopefully by doing it like that, it has held the heads in a position where it's happy to bolt to them. Instead of the heads being low, they've probably been held up a bit. I just don't know. I'm not an expert on stags. I've got to put some bolts in here as well. I just came out to finish that talking, but I'm going to leave it at that for today's session. That's a job well done. Even though I say it myself. You know, I'm pleased with my progress is what I meant to say. Okay, righto. It's looking okay. Thanks for joining me in the garage. Take care and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers then. Bye.